Have you ever thought about the split-second decisions that change your life forever? Imagine getting into a car, trusting the smiling couple inside, only to find yourself trapped in a nightmare lasting years. This is the story of Colleen Stan, a kidnapping so bizarre and terrifying that it's been called one of the strangest cases in modern history. What drives a human being to commit such unimaginable acts? And how does a victim survive 7 years of psychological and physical torment? Before we dive into this mind-bending story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We uncover the most chilling and bizarre true crime stories you won't hear anywhere else. Stay tuned as we unravel the dark secrets of Colleen Stan's case. In May 1977, 20-year-old Colleen Stan was hitchhiking to a friend's birthday party in California. Back then, hitchhiking was a common way to travel, and Colleen felt comfortable on the road. A car pulled up, a young couple with a baby. What could be safer than riding with a family? But shortly after she got into the car, something shifted. Cameron Hooker, the man behind the wheel, veered off course. In the middle of nowhere, he held Colleen at knife point and forced her into a terrifying homemade contraption, a headbox designed to trap her in darkness and silence. Who even imagined something so twisted? Colleen's nightmare had only just begun. Cameron and his wife, Janice Hooker, took her to their home and imprisoned her in their basement. Most of Colleen's captivity was spent in a coffin-like box under the couple's bed. This box became her world, a small, suffocating space where she was confined for up to 23 hours a day. Cameron subjected Colleen to unspeakable acts, but the most sinister part of his control was psychological. He convinced her that a shadowy, all-powerful organization called the Company was watching her every move. He claimed they would kill her family if she disobeyed or tried to escape. Imagine believing that every choice you made could endanger the people you love. How do you fight back against that kind of fear? Cameron's manipulation went beyond physical captivity. He made Colleen sign a slave contract, reinforcing her belief that she was utterly powerless. Over time, Colleen became so conditioned to her situation that she complied with Cameron's rules without resistance. How does someone survive in such an unimaginable state of fear? Shockingly, Cameron allowed Colleen brief glimpses of normalcy. She performed household chores, helped care for the Hooker's children, and even accompanied them on public outings. In one surreal moment, Cameron allowed her to visit her own family, who had no idea she was being held captive. Colleen was so terrified of the Company that she didn't tell them the truth. Can you imagine sitting at your family's dinner table, knowing you have to return to your captor? How does fear control someone so completely? Janice Hooker's involvement in the case adds another bizarre layer. As Cameron's wife, she had endured years of abuse herself. Cameron convinced Janice that kidnapping Colleen would redirect his sadistic tendencies away from her. Incredibly, Janice went along with the plan, even helping Cameron keep Colleen imprisoned. Over time, Janice began to feel guilt about her role in Colleen's suffering. But for years, she remained silent, trapped in her own cycle of fear and manipulation. Was she another victim, or was she complicit in Cameron's crimes? Could she have stopped this nightmare sooner? Despite her horrific conditions, Colleen found ways to endure. She prayed, daydreamed, and clung to the hope that she might one day escape. She complied with Cameron's demands, not out of submission, but as a strategy to survive. Her ability to hold on to hope in such circumstances is nothing short of extraordinary. At one point, Cameron promised to release Colleen after 7 years, but as time passed, it became clear he had no intention of letting her go. How long can someone survive with no end in sight? 7 years into this twisted arrangement, Janice Hooker reached her breaking point. She confessed to Colleen that the Company was a complete fabrication, a tool Cameron had used to manipulate her. This revelation shattered the psychological control Cameron had held over Colleen for years. Janice also told Colleen that Cameron planned to kill her soon. With this terrifying knowledge, Colleen finally mustered the courage to leave. With Janice's help, she walked out of the Hooker household and returned to her family. But how do you recover from 7 years of captivity? How do you rebuild a life stolen from you? Janice eventually reported Cameron to the authorities, leading to his arrest. The trial revealed the horrifying details of Colleen's captivity, shocking the nation. Cameron Hooker was sentenced to 104 years in prison, ensuring he would never harm anyone again. Janice, who cooperated with law enforcement, was granted immunity in exchange for her testimony. Colleen went on to rebuild her life, though the scars of her ordeal remain. She became a speaker and advocate for survivors, using her story to raise awareness about the psychological manipulation and control that kidnappers use to subdue their victims. Colleen Stan's story isn't just about survival. It's a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk behind seemingly ordinary lives. Cameron Hooker was a man who appeared normal to the outside world, yet his actions were the stuff of nightmares. How many others like him are hiding in plain sight, living among us unnoticed? Could similar horrors be happening right now, behind closed doors? And how many victims remain silent, trapped in fear like Colleen once was? This case forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about human nature, power, and control. It raises questions about the resilience of the human spirit and the lengths people will go to survive. Colleen Stan's story is one of the most bizarre and horrifying kidnapping cases ever recorded. It's a testament to the strength of the human spirit, but it also exposes the depths of human cruelty. What drives someone to commit such unthinkable acts? How do victims like Colleen find the courage to survive? And what can we do to ensure that no one else endures such a nightmare? If you found this story as chilling and eye-opening as we did, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We uncover the most shocking and bizarre true crime stories, bringing light to the darkest corners of human nature. Colleen Stan's story is more than just a harrowing tale of survival. It's a chilling reflection of how fear, control, and manipulation can completely dominate someone's life. How does a person endure such unimaginable suffering and emerge from it with the strength to carry on? Her case continues to haunt anyone who hears it, not just because of the physical horror she faced, but because of the psychological chains that bound her for so long. Cameron Hooker's methods were not just about physical confinement. They were about total psychological domination. He didn't just imprison Colleen's body, he imprisoned her mind. By creating the fictional company, he convinced her that she was constantly being watched and that any attempt to escape would lead to the deaths of her loved ones. How does someone create such a complex web of lies and sustain it for years? Colleen's belief in the company wasn't a weakness. It was a testament to the terrifying power of psychological manipulation. If fear can turn a capable, intelligent young woman into a compliant prisoner, what does that say about the vulnerabilities we all share? Janice Hooker's involvement raises deeply uncomfortable questions. As someone who had endured Cameron's abuse herself, she could be seen as another victim. Yet for 7 years, she actively participated in Colleen's captivity, even helping Cameron maintain control over her. Was Janice truly powerless? Or did she choose to stay silent out of self-preservation? Her eventual decision to help Colleen escape is commendable, but it doesn't erase her role in the crime. How do we balance accountability with understanding in cases like hers? And how many others trapped in similar cycles of abuse might also be enabling harm to others? One of the most extraordinary aspects of Colleen's story is her ability to survive, both physically and emotionally. Trapped in darkness, subjected to unimaginable conditions, and cut off from the world, she somehow managed to hold on to hope. What gives someone the strength to endure years of such torment and emerge with the courage to tell their story? Her resilience is a reminder that even in the darkest situations, the human spirit can find ways to survive. But it also raises another question. What happens to the countless victims who never escape, whose stories remain untold? Perhaps the most chilling part of this case is how Cameron Hooker managed to carry out such atrocities while maintaining a seemingly normal life. He had neighbors, acquaintances, and even law enforcement visit his property, yet no one suspected the horror taking place beneath their feet. How many other criminals are hiding in plain sight, masking their evil behind a facade of normalcy? The idea that such monstrous acts could go unnoticed for so long is a sobering reminder of how much darkness can be concealed behind closed doors. Colleen Stan's story forces us to confront uncomfortable questions about our own society. Why do we fail to notice the warning signs of abuse and captivity? How often do we dismiss strange behavior, assuming it's none of our business? And what more can we do to ensure that victims of abuse and kidnapping are identified and rescued? As horrifying as this case is, it's not unique. Many survivors of abuse face similar challenges: the isolation, the fear, and the manipulation that keep them trapped. How many others are suffering in silence because they believe no one will help them? Even after her escape, Colleen's life was forever altered by her years of captivity. The trauma she endured is something no one can truly leave behind. Yet, she chose to share her story, becoming a voice for others who have suffered abuse and manipulation. What does it take for someone to turn their pain into a message of hope for others? Her case also left a lasting impact on law enforcement and psychological research, serving as a grim example of the lengths predators will go to control their victims. But have we learned enough from her ordeal to prevent similar cases in the future? Colleen Stan's story is a testament to both the darkness of human cruelty and the strength of human resilience. It forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about power, fear, and survival. But here's the question that will haunt you long after this video ends. How many Colleens are still out there, waiting for someone to notice the signs and set them free?